That's an amazing video. Thank you very much for that chip of data, or those chips of data. Now that's a common problem that I've actually noticed in the geek population. You know, it's a pandemic for us. It's a pandemic. There's few of us going out with men or women. There's few of us having relationships. It does not have to be that way. It's true. Let me just tell you some truths that you just spun out to me, or us. It's true. He or she will come along when you least expect it. Right, okay, that's true. That can, you know. But also, I mean, I can't say for yourselves personally, but it's happened to people. It's happened where someone has basically, and yeah, we'll just tabulate what you just said. We'll just put it into a nutshell. And also the church seems to is a problem too, because they keep saying you've got to have, you know, what you were saying about, you know, pray about it and have Jesus as your boyfriend, girlfriend. Well, the thing is, they don't, you know, most men and women are not designed to be without men or women. You know, sorry, got mixed up. No, most men and women are not designed to be without spouses. But the problem is we've been brainwashed into thinking we are no good, that we do not have anyone for us. But that's a load of BS, because sorry to say that, but you've just confirmed something that I've already known through research and what I've seen. The church has actually brainwashed us out of everything good. They've brainwashed us out of a job, right? They're not helping us because the capitalists, you know, let me just put it in a nutshell what the IQ range is. It's 90 to 110. It's affected by both the secular versions and the Christian copies, okay? They're just copying each other. They're stupid, but it's been going on for how long? 20 years? It's ingrained. It's totally entrenched. And let me tell you one thing. There's a lot of Christians out there who the church does not recognise as Christians. It's not their fault. But many of them, they just it all seems to be happening to the nerds and the geeks, the ones who want to do what is good. The nerds, the geeks, people with Asperger's syndrome. You know, no, I won't accept any more defeat for us, because I'm going to let the media know this in due course. They're going to know about this. I'm going to expose the church for this. But then will I really have to expose the church? I mean, the thing is, back in the 90s, we had a really good thing going, right? We were not being treated like crap. We had jobs. You know, we had respectable jobs. We could get into the field that we loved, like technology. But technology is being demonized by the church. It's not demonic. Come on, it's, you know what's demonic? It's the money gods that are demonic, and they're the ones controlling the industries. That's why if you want to get a job in innovation, that's why you want to get a job in the tech industry, the money gods, the people, you know, the people who are obsessed with money. Now they say, both the church and the secular versions of these people will say, oh, you're too obsessed with your machines, your devices, you're too focused on your computer. Well, I'm sorry to say, I will not buy that lie, because I've seen that lie destroy countless lives, and they'll never find a way out. Many of them are trapped in a loop, like they're alone in a housing estate, housing department, in mum and dad's place, because we've been reduced to poverty. We do not have jobs. We do not have social life. So what do? So you play your Xbox. You do what you can. That's all right, because you can't help it. You need to keep your mind active. You know, computer games, they say, are healthy. You know, and they can actually make you happy. You see, the thing is, most of us don't have jobs. We're like little islands, little specks around the world. No one even gives a hoot about us. The church will not even accept us, so we don't get their generosity anymore. Workplaces rejected us. Well, I won't let you guys die of that. And it's good to make comedies about it. Well, I'll put it this way. There is a man that has put me on the front line here. And I'll tell you one thing, he is debunking the whole myth about this technology sin thing, and this, because it's actually causing our planet to overheat. While we're out of the circuit, we're not making machines that serve mankind. They're just serving the people who make them, the money grubbers, who are obsessed with people. But do they say they love people? They don't really love people, because they just love to talk about social related things, right? No, I'm going to keep fighting this cyber war until something is done about this nonsense. Now, this man wanted to build a self-guided photocopier 20 years ago, start the job, but short circuits happened, and unfortunately, we see a whole plethora of YouTube videos alone on the subject of copier design, but they're not really, but most people can't see it. Copier industrialists. I don't know what proportion of the nerd and geek population are made up of those alone. But I'll tell you one thing, we are both passionate about copiers to the point where we want to have sex on a copier, right? Sexual fetish, that's a common thread that, Now let me just clarify one thing about this religion thing, okay? Well, if it's so sinful for us to be stuck in front of the terminals of our computers, well, is there anything wrong with someone being put in front of the computer for, say, 18 hours a day because they want to get the message out and help people who can't talk, who haven't got a voice, who are too afraid, they're bullied? Is there anything wrong with that? And you got to keep doing it until something happens? Well, let me just tell you one thing. My click track for the past 2 months constantly is I have had no time to go outside and do my photocopying activities. I've had to put them on suspension for a while, and basically I've made videos about my photocopying activities. And the thing is, I'm trying to reach out to people who need help. But I'll tell you one thing, I've been doing it for like 18 hours straight each day almost. Well, I do have power naps. But I'll tell you one thing, I still haven't made enough. I have created this huge network that I've been building for about just over a year. Doesn't seem to matter how much time I spend in front of the terminal. We haven't got any lift off yet. But hopefully soon, the bigger the network, the more impact it's going to have. But it's quite frustrating. So if the church is going to say to me that I'm sinning because I'm spending about 18 hours a day in front of this terminal, well, I'll have to blow a dirty big raspberry in their face and say, get out of my way, morons. This is a construction zone, this is a war zone. Out of my way. Well, the best thing to do is not to antagonise, but just to ignore. But people are just like that nowadays. They're hypnotised by this foolishness, this bong smoke. Stupid. I just struck upon something, We have copier industrialists in my own suburb that I gave them some of my copier demos, and they were just crude little video chips. They weren't full-on music videos like what I'm doing today. There was no editing. There wasn't even any, the video chips weren't even joined together. They were just chips that I was uploading to YouTube. Just small enough to, go up the line because this thing's stupid the way they design. I read this frustration, this slowness of these connections, even with a really good high ADSL hookup. This is a load of bullshit. You've got to have if nerds were designing the internet, we'd have YouTube videos going up 10 times faster. We could upload all sorts of stuff. No more of these silly restrictions. You post video comments just like that. I'm not talking about this webcam stuff. I'm talking about if you've got like a video of photocopier demos, because these photocopier demos have got to reach the targets. They're not going to reach all the targets, so I've got to try and employ the media as much as I can. It's not just because we can't talk like they can or be socially connected. If we make better machines, we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about how good our machines are, put advertisements on them. We just hand the copier to the person and say, look, try this thing for free. Then you can say whether you like it or not. You can rate it. You can thumb it up, thumb it down. You can say terrible things about it if that's how you feel. The thing is, it doesn't really need a salesperson. If you build a good copier, a self-guided photocopier, something that can take orders from its operator, like a human, like a crude little human being, right? Well, if you could create something like that with such precision and such beauty, and even make the hardware look sexy, oh yes, copiers, oh yeah, metal on metal and metal and metal and metaling, heavy stuff, but very efficient. We've got copier industrialists who want to build an efficient copier, but what are they doing? Many of them are pulling cones, smoking marijuana. Now, is that good? No, and many of them are, most of them are Christians who've been corrupted. You know what it feels like for these guys to be corrupted Christians? It's the worst thing in the world. It feels like it's disgraceful. It's an illusion, right? It's an illusion, right? But I'll tell you one thing, when you're actually going through it, it's like hell on earth. And then you've got nothing good. It doesn't matter how talented you are at your job. It doesn't matter what you got. You're just going to be reduced. If you're in that demographic, you're going to be reduced to poverty. I mean, sheer poverty. Nothing. Imagine all the dreams you had in your childhood. They've all gone dark. Your friendships are gone. Your love is gone. And then you've got this freaking obsession with hell. The fear of hell. The fear of dying. I mean, seriously, playing in full HD in your mind. or should we say 3D. It's the worst feeling, and basically, when people are reduced to that smouldering wreckage and they do not know if they're even going to survive, well, that's when my videos will have to come firing through the tubes of people's TVs or through the flat screens, whatever type of blinking monitor or whatever you got. Doesn't matter if it's a tube or a CRT. Well, I like CRTs. I've got one in my bedroom. Well, that's traditionally what they show in these dystopic music videos anyway, tube TVs. Well, that's where YouTube derives its name from. But of course, most TVs these days, most screens are actually flat panels, whatever. I'm a geek. I'm proud to be a geek. But, so you've got a self-guided photocopier, right? And it's that good. You don't have to dolly it up with adverts. You just take the product, you say to the clients, it's a prototype or it's a short run, we're going to test it. We're not going to, try to sell it to you. We're just going to send it out to you guys for nothing, dispatch it for free. Install it like we did in the Xerox days, 914, and then after, then you can just say, well, what do you think of this device? What do you think of it? And you just put a whole bunch of them around the place, and you just collect statistics on who likes it and who doesn't. And if it's not rating very high, you've got to basically take the thing back to the lab and say, well, the old saying, back to the drawing board. You've got to do it with passion and with conviction. None of this money grubbing, because I'll tell you what, a lot of people in the copy industry, they just spend half their time watching YouTube purely because they want to watch social content. Oh, the cat, the dog, the house. I feel like mocking these people because they're mocking us to the point of death almost. Many of us have committed suicide, I reckon. I've seen, suicide. And they still just won't stop hammering us. They love to hurt us. They seem to want us to die. Why? Is it jealousy? Because we've got bigger brains than them? Do they really think we're a threat? Well, we're not a threat for now because they've trumped us for the past 20 years. And the thing is, I'm going to speak up for you guys, because if you guys are too nervous to speak, which most of you are, well, I'm going to keep thumping away. Soon I'm hoping to leave this domain. And I've got my Android tablet that I just bought recently. I'm getting it loaded up with applications and getting stuff. I've also got my external hard drive primed with backups and all that sort of thing, all that sort of cool stuff. Getting my machines ready, because I'm thinking I'm going to go for a bit of a jaunt. I might even go up to wherever, get myself around a bit, do some photocopying. I haven't done photocopying for more than 2 months. I'm completely missing it. Anyway, got to go. I hope we can get something happening for you guys, because basically the synopsis is we're going to build a Silicon Valley. And this man of mine who's in love with me has basically put me out here until such time as I get the news, the media rumbling, we won't get together and marry until we've achieved this objective. The thing is, we can't get the Silicon Valley happening straight away. We've got to basically learn to interact first online while we wait, form groups, clubs, but basically the final goal, or the main goal is eventually is to form a Silicon Valley, and he's got money and runs a copy business and he's been doing it for really well, and he's got the money, and if he can get all you guys to hook up, well then, and of course if you're not into copiers, you can, renewable energy is another option, and other gadgets that need adjusting, improvement. But copiers are our main interest, but of course we need renewables, because that's getting beyond tipping point. And if anyone's into renewables, we've got to have a renewable energy section, and we've got to have everything. But the copier is basically the nucleus of this group. And in the 90s, they had photocopier art produced, but they don't have that anymore. It's dead. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm going to revive it, and it has actually helped cure these poor people in my suburb. But the only problem is they're lonely still, and they're still in the same sitch. But at least they've had this bullshit, I don't know the full status, but I haven't got time to interact. But there's a whole bunch of us, there's about 1 million of us around the world who need to unite and then eventually get to this, create the Silicon Valley. So got to go. Well, here's to a brighter future. And yes, you can get married, because this man and I, we're going to get married. So help us. And we got together through the machine world. So yes, suck back to the machine antagonists. There you go. What can I say? Machines are sexy, hey? Myth busted.